start this off. I'm gonna start this one off, and it's a bit of a chiller. And I really don't like writing stuff like this, but I know what comes out of my little um, feeble imagination. So I hope you like it. And I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't. I want to start writing comedies again. It's things that make you think and laugh and stuff like this. But I guess there's a reason um, for this to come forth. I hope justice prevails, and I hope people do get catched, or the one that's behind this does get catched. Okay, so I'm gonna start now. Number four. Yep, that day. All right, that's the header. That day. Hmm. Let me just. All right, let me just. I don't believe this. I just put this here and do that. Yeah. If it was up to me, I would have ran off. If it was up to me, I would have ran off. Today is a good day to say the truth about what happened last week. Just another summer, not much to do, but have a wonderful time hiking. Could you imagine some guy like you and me running about in the hills soon by the lake? What else did we do? Oh, I just remembered. We killed that person in the wheelchair. It couldn't be helped. That summer was so wonderful. The air was nice and still, with a hint of cool breeze. Let me know if I'm creeping you out. I'm a little doctor. All day I give medical advice, even when I'm seeing no patients. The place I work is a nice. The place where I work is nice and big. You can do what you want there, including take a life or two. My evening starts with brushing my hair or brushing my using a comb to brush my hair. Um, all day I wash myself. I don't want to kill anybody that can trace the murders. I don't want to kill anybody that can trace the murders. I almost got caught last time. Lights out, I say once more. Death comes to us all. What a wonderful day to kill. Oh well, back to the mental hospital. One in every area, just like me. Try to catch me. I wander, I wander the streets at night looking for my next victim. The homeless make good fun. Why, you ask? Because I kill by the bucket load. My bucket is full. Bet you can't catch me. To hell with it. Someone's got on my nerves again. They keep accusing me of killing homeless street people. What do I say to that? So what? Yes, I said it. So what? Yes, I said it. No one cares for them, not even themselves. One day, must be in spring, murdered almost four homeless people in a week. Good going for me, I think. You're probably wondering how to catch me. Stop wondering, not even me can catch me. Try looking for my insurance policy. I took out on my group. That's what I call them. I don't care. You can't catch me. Every piece of paperwork goes through my hospital. Stop thinking how to catch me. I cannot be stopped. Do you remember the cold chill last year? Or was it the year before? I murdered with a smile on my face. Another job well done. The end. If you can't stop me, then go away. My chill means it's time to kill. Don't worry, I clean up for you. You don't need them around. We don't even look at them. If you want this done, just find me. I'm too easy. How many life policies, how many life insurance insurance policies can I take out? Tomorrow I start again. It's okay. Times for murders. In the year 1985, a string of murders took place in America and Germany. Nobody connected the dots. If we look at ourselves, we will look down and say, well done. Are you one of them? Three question marks. Time to leave now. I'm still free, still cannot catch me. Let me just cannot catch me. I bet you. What do you say? How much do you have? Just enough? I need to sleep. What? Try cross checking medical records of homeless people who have been murdered in the streets or in a building. He stays out of the public eye. He's a family man. That's my idea of him. Always be careful. He cares about nobody. Okay, let me just. I'm gonna put the end here. The end. And please, if somebody please wants to take a look, investigate, and search with their own minds to find this complete and utter arsehole, please do. Uh, one less arsehole walking around in this world is a good thing. Trust me. And I'm sorry I didn't leave it on like a really good note. I wanted to leave it on something really funny and good, but this popped up out of my mind, and I just kept writing. Uh, what can I say after this? Have a good one. I can't say that, can I? But please try to join the dots and try to look for this person. I did my best to give you a brief idea what type of joker this one is, and yeah, the end. I hope to bring more like cheerful stuff uh, to your eyes or to your gaze, and maybe the next four might be a lot more funnier. But then again, who knows what um, the end lies. So the beginning is the end. So I guess you have to gaze into the future to find the start. Uh, biomechanical science. Mm. When I was a kid, I was really good at maths and mathematics. And I met Stephen Hawkins, and we had this long, long chat. Well, I quite find it funny. It was we had more than a chat. It was more of uh, a crew, a guy in a wheelchair, and a couple of other cats. And I remember this disabled guy, and he walked with crutches, and we always just sitting there, and one or two were smoking weed, and I wasn't, of course, and he wasn't. Well, he had better things on his mind, believe it or not. And we started to talk and chat and this and that and back and forth. And it was over a couple of days, or was it? I think it was near a month. And we were talking and talking and talking, and me being a rambunctious, upstart, loudmouth, rude when needed, and I say again, rude when needed. Sometimes you have to be rude when needed, and boy, I was rude that day. I asked him a question, and remember, he was this wonderful mathematic guy. Guy knows, and he could cuss. Don't get me wrong, he could cuss. He knew how to cuss you out. I mean, he know how to, put the slang in and your mama's this, your mama's that. Tell your mama to come round tonight. Don't get it twisted. He knew how to put that joke in and make you feel half the size that you were or was. So I make it to the point, I'm trying to like skirt or ice skate around it. So I think there was about four of us, and we were just sitting there and chatting, and one or two were smoking, and I started off talking about maths and why numbers are not needed in maths, mathematics. You don't need numbers in mathematics. And he just sort of looked at me and thought, oh God, Andrew, shut up. You need you need numbers in mathematics. And I basically said, no, it's more to do with theory. It's more to do with logic and the whole idea of, I say it, faith. I mean, if you want to look at science, pick up the Bible. You don't need to put E equals MC squared minus, 1,000 decibels. You don't need that. And I'm trying to explain this to him. And we're talking, and he sort of said something that was, what's the word? A little bit rude. And me being extremely rude, I kind of looked at him and I said, look, did you get laid yesterday? And he looked at me. He just looked at me. And he turned around and said, look at me. I'm in a wheelchair. Who's gonna, jump on my bones? Who's gonna have sex with me? And I remember looking at him. I said, yo, this is why you should never, leave a man in a black neighborhood. Because there's always some cat out there, or there's always some guy out there that will say, look, yo, I can hook you up. And I'm not gonna lie, I really do want to get this story out, because it's one of those stories that if I don't get out, I don't want to, hear it from somebody else. It's just I know. Look, I got him laid. All right, I got him laid. I got him a woman. I'm going to confess. I am going to come to confess. Stephen Hawkins was in one of my auntie's yard or auntie's house. Right, we all sitting there. One or two was smoking weed. One or two was had a bottle of alcohol. Average age, I think it was 15 and a half. Yeah, 15 and a half. Average age of all of us. And we were like, just talking about mathematics versus the ideology of how to convert or how to build a starship. It was one of those just bizarre conversations, and he was into it. Don't get me wrong, he was into it. But I started to talk about, if you want to understand mathematics better, you need to either pick up a Bible or pick up the Quran or pick up the Torah or pick up something that has faith-based. And what's the word? What's the best way of saying this? Use the words, the spoken words, as mathematics, as numbers. Spoken words can be used as numbers and mathematics. And he just looked at me and said, your mama. Or no, he didn't say your mama. He just said, Andrew, shut up. You're talking utter rubbish. Then he said, once again. And I just looked at him and I just said, when's the last time you got laid? When's the last time you took a woman to bed? And he just looked at me and said, hey, yo, I'm in a wheelchair. Who's going to have me? Look at me. Who's going to have me? And he did go off on one. He did. It was like, it wasn't, well, Andrew, I'm disabled, so it can't exist in my, what's the best way of saying this? In my time. And I said, don't worry, I can hook you up. I can get you someone. And I can get you more than someone. Trust me, I'm good on the block. You know? So Stephen looked at me on Hawkins. Oh, Stephen Hawkins. Oh, he just said, okay, try your best, He didn't say try your best. He just looked at me and just said, I bet you can't. And he kind of smiled or winked at me, and I just looked at him and said, I'm going to sort you out. I'm going to sort you out good and proper. And he just looked at me and just smiled and said, oh, well, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you staying here today? And he went, yeah. And he said, look, are you staying the night here today? And he said, of course. Where do I go? You're my family, Oh, he has like a Jamaican side. You trust me, it's big Jamaican side, especially in South London. So that's where he used to hang out a little, And before people took him seriously, because nobody took him seriously. Why? Because he's in a wheelchair, of course. And so later that evening, I met up with him again. And I said, yo, I'm going on the road. I said, I'm going out, going on the road, gonna do some business, gonna sort some things out. Do you want me to see if I can find somebody for you? And he looked at me and just said, do your best. I said, okay. Then we started. Just before I left, I asked him a question. And it was, what's the question? It was to do with how time works. No, it was to do with what is the perception of time, space, and energy. And I gave him an answer that was the spoken word answer. I didn't give him an MC square. I didn't give him a mathematic answer. I gave him a spoken word answer to the question that I put forth to Stephen Hawkins. And he looked at me and said, you're full of crap. And I said, no, because I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove this to you. And he said, how can you prove it? I said, look, it's your perception of yourself is in a wheelchair, somebody that's disabled. And he said, Andrew, I am disabled and in a wheelchair. And I said, yes, but they don't know that. Andrew, how are you going to hide this metal frame? Then he said, I think you're smoking too much weed. And I said, yo, I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke weed. And then he said, but you're on something. I said, I'm not on something. I'm just trying to prove a point. That it's the perception of time that can be altered to get a result or an answer that is conducive to the question to which you have just answered me. Andrew, do your best and leave me alone now. So I said, okay. I said, I'm gone. All right, I prove it. I'm gonna get. Trust me, I'm gonna hook you up right now. I'm going. See ya. I'm gonna go. All right, I'm going now. I'm going out the door. All right, little more. You just stay there. Everything's cool. Bye bye. Don't move. Okay, 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 okay. You cool? Yeah. Look, if you could get me, I'm not saying if. I'm saying when or why you can get me a lady friend, somebody to have a romance with, to talk to go to bed with. I am, what's the best way of saying this? I can't pop my seed. Do you hear what I just said, Andrew? You know, the flagpole won't go up. Oh, I said, I don't. He said, look, do you understand? But in the pants, flagpole won't go up. All right? I cannot conceive. That's these words. I cannot conceive, Andrew. And I'm like, don't worry about that. I know some stuff. And he looked at me. Well, what else do you do? And this is, I'm not making this shit up. This is absolutely true. He looked at me and just said, what do you mean? I said, wait right there. And I ran off. Went up, was it upstairs? No, I went to the second room at the back. I then grabbed, no, I opened the drawer. It wasn't there. I opened the third drawer. It wasn't there. I left the second drawer to the end. Why? I have no idea. Well, I do, but it's best not to tell you. I knew the second drawer is where they kept the weed, so I knew it wouldn't be there. So it was in the third drawer. So I grabbed it, took it out, opened the drawer, grabbed it, came back to him, explained what it does in detail. He looked at me and said, that's a cattle prod. I said, kind of. Does that work? I replied, it's what porn stars do. What? Porn stars, when they can't get it up. Cattle prod. Buzz. Flag goes up. And all of that. So, about, what was it again? I think it was like an hour, no, I'm saying an hour. I made 2 phone calls and I rushed out the house, and 10 minutes later I come back, right? I then came to see him, and at the doorway was, I don't believe I'm gonna say all this shit. I don't believe I'm gonna, I have to confess. I think there was like, no, I'm not thinking. There was 2 women at the door. So I rushed to him and I said, look, hey, you, listen to me. Because I do this a lot. Listen to me. You're a music producer. You're a music producer, all right? All right? You're not no big brain scientist or whatever. You're a music producer, all right? Trust me, music producers grab ass. They like, trust me. Music producers have a lot of women. All right? You with me, Steve? Mr. Hawkins, Stevie, you with me? And he said yes. Now, believe it or not, that wasn't a headache. I hooked him up. That was not the headache. The headache, and I don't know why. I don't know why to this very day was trying to get him upstairs into bed. Literally, I mean, gee, come on, you got plenty of rooms downstairs, but for some reason, I don't know, was it him or was it me? I think it was me. I said, okay, let's just, you know, let's all go upstairs. So we had to carry him upstairs, and it's a really fantastic story. I mean, I'm not giving it the justice, but what's the best way of saying it? He got a booty call. Let's put it that way, yeah. And it was actually quite funny because it wasn't funny. It was just me being ridiculously rude. I bigged him up. I literally said, this is the guy that produces all the big sounds and Top of the Pops and all the music and this is the big boss. This is the guy that is the music man. This is the producer. This is the guy that can make you famous. This guy can do. And I bigged him up, and it worked. So 2 weeks later, actually, I better don't say that. I really better don't say this, but I mean, 2 days later, let's put 2 days later, yeah. I buck up with Stephen Hawkins again. I meet Stephen Hawkins. No, Jamaicans say buck up. I meet Stephen Hawkins, and we're talking, and he thanked me, and I said, no problem, dude, no problem, anytime. And what can I say next that won't get me into trouble? I'm literally I'm trying to get off that eggshell. 2 weeks later, one of the women, actually, there was like 6 women involved, and one of them came to me and said, "Where is he? Where is he?" And so I tell you this story. Oh shit! I shouldn't. It. Oh. She said, "Where is he? Where is he?" And I said, "What you? Why do you want him for? What do you want him?" He wants you want to link up and get have some fun again. And she said, "No." Oh, she didn't say no. She said, "Tell me where he is, you little asshole." And I just said, "Boy," I said, "He's in London somewhere. So do you want me to contact? What's the problem?" And she said, "Oh, batteries are low." She said, "I'm pregnant." And I went, "Oh, hey, he's coming around tomorrow. You better go and see him tomorrow." The end. All right, the end. But it is a still blah 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 blah. It is a true story, and there's 6 witnesses. I don't believe this. My butterflies are back again. There are 6 witnesses that can confirm the story, and there's about 5 or 6 women plus, plus, and one more plus that know him good. All right. So that's the story. That's my confession. All right. I might do some more confessions, and you can stop laughing now. All right. It was, that's why I said it was from the heart. I ain't lying. I ain't lying. All right. I got Stephen Hawking's age, famous mathematician. Back then, he was, a guy in a wheelchair you know, trying to be, I don't say trying to be somebody, just, he had a rude mouth, and I kind of liked it. I liked his style because he had just had he knew how to put a one-liner. He knew how to put down someone. He knew, I guess because he was in a wheelchair and he was disabled, and that was his defense. Could you imagine if that's you and you're in a wheelchair and people will come up to you and mock you and you better know how to, you can't fight back, you know. So you better use your mouth and fight back and use it in a way that one works and two doesn't get you beaten up in a wheelchair. And that's what he did. So yeah. Can I say goodbye now? Uh, well, that's me. That's me. Okay. I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna. All right, end this story. All right, I got that off my chest, and you could investigate that if you want, and it'd be kind of a wonderful investigation. And please don't trouble me, please don't. But it is a true story, and I was actually, you know, I convinced him that the spoken word is much better than numbers, and I proved that the spoken word can get you laid, and well, can she was beautiful. She was beautiful, and he was happy. So, yeah, there's a ton of Stephen Hawkins, what, little Stephen Hawkins running about back then. All right, that's it. All right, that's my confession. That's one of many. Um, I can't say no more to that. All right, and yeah, so. Mm.